guys remember a couple of months ago, September 3rd to be exact, when 4 new episodes of Naruto were supposed to come out and everybody was super excited because would they be a reanimation? Would it be a brand new mini arc? Would they be an hour long? Would they be a half hour long? And would they signal in Boruto's anime returning? And then when we all got super duper excited about the concept of new Naruto after what feels like almost a decade, Studio Period and Shueisha were like, never mind. Do you guys remember that? Because I remember that, and honestly, the craziest part of all of that is that they super didn't have to announce it. It was just July of 2023, and they were like, you know what? Let's announce 4 new episodes of Naruto coming in September. And everyone was like, what? It's not a Boruto project, new Naruto. What would the 4 episodes be about? We didn't know, but it was going to be a celebration of the 20th anniversary of Naruto, the anime, releasing. So a lot of people hypothesized that there'd be 4 one-hour-long episodes reanimating crucial arcs in Naruto. Kind of like an extended version of the 9-minute YouTube video we got about a year ago. And not only were we getting 4 new episodes, we were getting them relatively soon. So for a sweet, fleeting couple of weeks, new Naruto was on the horizon. However, on August 29th, just 4 days before the release of these 4 new episodes, Studio Period released a message to everybody on the Naruto official page, saying that these new 4 episodes would be indefinitely postponed to increase their quality. And the reason that we're making this video today is because on the day that this video is being released, the 29th of December, never mind, it's the 30th. Regardless, it's roughly the 4-month anniversary of the Naruto new episodes being postponed indefinitely. But indefinite might just shift to permanent. As of the course of these 4 months since the postponement of these 4 episodes, we have heard a grand total of 0 things. And yes, that includes me, somebody who's usually in the know on subjects such as these. But Viz and Studio Period have done an incredible job of keeping their secrets locked tight. So much so that absolutely no information in regards to the release of these 4 episodes has even found its way to me. So while I can theorize about what these 4 episodes were supposed to be or possibly being turned into now, I have no actual clue. Just like everybody else. However, me admitting, because I have no information, that I have no idea what's going on with these 4 episodes is kind of exclusive to me. As around when these episodes were supposed to come out in late August and early September, there was a lot of people acting like they did know what was going to happen. As around this time, there was people all over Twitter leaking what the 4 episodes were going to be. And those leaks were usually people saying that each of the 4 episodes was going to be an hour long, and they were going to be reanimations of crucial arcs in Naruto. The general consensus being the Chunin exams, the Sasuke retrieval arc, Itachi versus Sasuke, and the pain assault. But pretty quickly, these leaks fell apart. As a week prior to September 3rd, people in Japan were able to key forward in their TV scheduling guide and see the time slot in which these episodes were supposed to come out. And lo and behold, they found the Naruto 20th anniversary episode, but it was only slotted to air between 5:30 and 6, meaning that this 20th anniversary episode would be 22 minutes, like every other Naruto episode, not an hour long. So immediately everybody began to panic because the leaks had said that these episodes were going to be an hour long and they were going to be reanimations of crucial arcs. Boiling down an entire arc into 45 minutes is almost impossible. Boiling it down into 22 minutes is impossible. Now, I guess hypothetically you could boil down one individual fight from Naruto into 22 minutes. And if you only really focused on the fighting aspect of Itachi versus Sasuke, you could probably get that fight down to 22 minutes. But you definitely weren't getting the Chunin exams, the Sasuke retrieval arc, or the pain assault. And thus everybody grabbed their pitchforks and their torches and headed to the same place that these supposed leaks had come out, Twitter, and screamed to the high heavens, aka Japan, about how angry they were that these episodes were only going to be a half hour long. And thus in that moment, 2 things became incredibly clear. 1, the leaks were fake, obviously. And 2, these 4 episodes were probably not gonna be a reanimation. But if not a reanimation, what's the alternative? Well, unfortunately, the only alternative to reanimation was a 4-episode non-canon arc, which when you consider the fact that all of the messaging coming from Shueisha and Studio Period was that these would be new Naruto releases, that kind of always seemed obvious to me, because if they wanted to call them reanimations, they simply would have just done that. Here's the thing, the creation of these episodes, when it comes down to it, is about the making of money. And Shueisha and Studio Period understand that people want Naruto reanimated. They have eyes, they can read. Therefore, if they were reanimating key arcs of Naruto, they would let you know. And you wanna know how they know that? Because Toei knows that. Because Wit knows that. Because Netflix knows that. Because One Piece just decided to start what will probably end up being the most expensive anime project of all time, the complete and total reanimation of One Piece by Wit, the notoriously most expensive animation studio on Earth. That's not true. The show is being undercut by MAPPA, which I guess kind of a low bar. MAPPA feeds their animators with spit and hate. So if Wit, Netflix, and Toei were able to establish that the most expensive animation project ever accomplished would be profitable, I can guarantee you that Shueisha and Studio Pierrot understand that 4 reanimated episodes of Naruto would make a good amount of money. And thus, they called it a new Naruto release. But because people got riled up on Twitter and a couple of morally gray characters decided to release fake leaks, the expectation got set at hour-long reanimations, and the reality was an hour and 20 minutes of non-canon Naruto nonsense. However, whether or not the 4 new episodes were going to be a non-canon arc or reanimation, it doesn't matter, because for the last 4 months, those 4 episodes have been indefinitely postponed. And while an indefinite 4-month-long postponement might sound like a negative thing, in actuality, this might be the best possible thing that could have happened for these 4 episodes. And I think the length of this delay confirmed the thoughts I had about this delay 4 months ago, where I came to 2 possible conclusions, one of which might actually end in the complete and total reanimation of Naruto. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. What if I told you that there's a possibility that the 4 episodes being indefinitely postponed is because Naruto's going to be reanimated? You'd probably call me crazy, but then again, that won't be the first time and it won't be the last. So stick with me today and hold my hand, because today we're going a place that I, a Hunter x Hunter fan, have a lot of experience with: hiatus hell. However, fortunately for us Naruto fans, it might be over soon. But before we get to wandering into the deepest and darkest place in all of anime history, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. And if you want to see me talk about Hunter x Hunter or any other anime, go ahead and follow my other channel, The Weeb Commander, where instead of talking about Naruto and Boruto, I talk all other anime. And if you just like the idea of me talking about anime, you're gonna love my anime podcast, Talks Anonymous, where me and Danny Mata break down everything that happened in anime this week. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Or if you just want to look like somebody who keeps up with anime, go ahead and meander into my merch store, talkasanonymous.net, where you can pick up some of the greatest anime t-shirts, sweatshirts, and sticker packs known to man. Before we get into all that, we gotta talk about a brand new sponsor to the page, Mistplay. I know a lot of you out there are probably already playing mobile games, but doesn't it feel like nowadays the only thing that a mobile game wants from you is your hard-earned cash? Well, Mistplay wants to flip the script on all that. See, Mistplay wants to give you the ability to not only play games, but also earn while you play. And if that sounds too good to be true, give me a second. See, Mistplay is a loyalty app for those of us who love playing mobile games. And Mistplay wants to help you not only earn while you play, but also discover some new games, as Mistplay hosts a giant catalog of mobile games that cover all genres. But let's talk about those earnings. See, the more you play on Mistplay, the more you earn. And the more points you earn, the more points you can redeem towards gift cards at some of the biggest companies on Earth, like Amazon, Walmart, Visa. And people have already begun to cash in those gift cards, as over $60 million in gift cards have already been redeemed from Mistplay. And to get in on that sweet gift card action, all you have to do is discover new games through Mistplay, download, and play them. See, personally, me, I've been playing games like Royal Match and Mergedom, Home Kingdom. And since it feels like nowadays I'm on a flight every other week, I have been crushing mobile game hours. So to play with the goal in mind that these hours of me crushing mobile games are going to earn me gift cards has been a godsend. So what are you guys waiting for? Go to mistplay.com/nchammer23 or use the link in my description to download Mistplay today for free. And if you guys do download Mistplay today, you'll get 200 points to help you build towards getting those gift cards. And if you use code nchammer50 when you download, you'll get an additional 50 points. So what are you waiting for? It's time you became a professional gamer. So, 4 long months. 120 days, longer than most of your relationships. I certainly know it's longer than most of mine. I'm a big 3-month guy. I date quarterly. Now, the natural response to a 4-month delay on the release of 4 episodes is, oh, that's never coming out. And yeah, that would be an incredibly rational response, especially when you consider the fact that this delay started with Studio Pierrot saying, we're going to delay this project to make sure that the episodes are of a higher quality, implying that somewhere around August 29th, 4 days before these episodes were supposed to come out, that they were done. But the quality wasn't at a level in which Studio Pierrot thought the public would be super stoked about. And therefore, one would assume over the course of 4 months that Studio Pierrot would be able to polish an hour and 20 minutes of content. I mean, that's not crazy, right? I know nothing about animation and how long it takes, but the idea of making 4 already completed episodes look a little bit better shouldn't take 4 months, and thus one can't help but doubt the statement released by Studio Pierrot 4 months ago. I mean, Studio Pierrot is a massive animation studio that is currently only working on one anime, as Black Clover, Kingdom, and Boruto are all not currently being released. Now, Black Clover is not being released not because of Studio Period, just because they need to let the manga finish before they restart the anime. Boruto's kind of in a similar situation where they're trying to space out the manga and the anime because the anime is 75% filler. So really, when it comes down to it, the only current anime that Studio Period is working on is Bleach, 1000-Year Blood War arc. And while let's not get it twisted at all with how beautiful TYBW it is, obviously there's a lot of people working on that project. But like I said, Studio Period is a massive animation studio. They have the people to work on TYBW and other projects, and thus there must be some kind of reason outside of making the episodes look a little bit prettier as to why these episodes were delayed. And so far as I see it, there's really 2.5 reasons. The first reason that I believe that these episodes weren't released and were put on indefinite hiatus is because Studio Period didn't want to release these 4 episodes amidst a firestorm of malice. See, because obviously, like we've already established, these episodes are supposed to release on September 3rd, which means that roughly around August 27th, August 28th, people were able to go forward on their TV guides and see that these episodes are going to be a half-hour long, which means that the online fallout of people reacting to these episodes being a half-hour long happened somewhere between August 27th and August 28th. I know I got images of these TV guides on August 28th, and the article saying that these episodes have been delayed came out August 29th. So the coincidence is slightly eerie. And quite honestly, if Studio Period was to continue their release schedule and release the first episode on September 3rd, and it was not only a non-canon 4-episode mini-arc, but it also didn't look all that great, then yeah, that firestorm would have burnt down Japan. And while this indefinite hiatus might definitely be so that the episodes can look better, it could also be so that tempers cool before these episodes are released. Because the idea of a 4-episode mini arc after believing that we're gonna get 4 hours of Naruto reanimated goodness is very disappointing. And when you consider the fact that just a couple of months prior to this, Sasuke Retsudan, an actual canon adaptation story, had been adapted in 8 episodes in Boruto and had become very quickly one of the most ridiculed things on the entire internet, the idea of following that up with a non-canon mini arc is not good for the brand. Here's the thing. I don't think that's a possibility anymore, because while the anger around these episodes being a half-hour long has definitely quelled, so has any and all interest. Sure, if Studio Period announced tomorrow that the episodes were going to come in 2 weeks, people would be excited, but for all intents and purposes, I'm sure you forgot these episodes were even ever going to exist in the first place. I know I forgot about them for a fair amount of time, because I don't know how long one waits to release something that they believe their fans are going to hate, but I don't think 4 months is the right choice. Just seems too long. Now, the second possibility that I pointed out 4 months ago is a possibility that I believe to be astronomically more likely, and that is that Studio Period, upon realizing the negative backlash that the episodes were already getting, upon everybody realizing that these would most likely be a 4-episode mini arc as opposed to hour-long reanimations, decided that releasing these episodes at all would be detrimental to the brand. And genuinely, with how long this hiatus has been, I can't help but believe this to be true. See, because here's the thing, Studio Period was just as online as the rest of us, and they saw everybody hoping for a reanimation, when in actuality, what they had was definitely not a reanimation. And thus, instead of releasing another massive project like they thought Sasuke Retsudan was a massive project that would then end up being a financial failure, they decided to start from zero. See, I genuinely don't believe that Studio Period wanted to improve the quality of their episodes. What I believe and have believed for a long time is that Studio Period realized that what they had is not what the fan base wanted. And releasing this product that the fan base doesn't want, back to back with Sasuke Retsudan, would quite actually sink the Naruto name, especially when you consider the fact that the Boruto anime had also chosen to go on hiatus right around this time. So it was one of the most recent things that happened in Boruto being the highly maligned Sasuke Retsudan arc, and then Boruto breaking its streak of almost 300 weekly episodes to go on hiatus because the quality was so low, to be followed up by 4 non-canon, possibly poorly animated episodes, would probably be enough to kill even Naruto. But here's the thing. If Studio Period did realize this mistake, there's no fixing it. See, let's say hypothetically Studio Period did have half-hour reanimations planned. Upon seeing the backlash online and everybody wanting hour-long reanimations, what can they do? They could obviously release half-hour-long reanimations of key parts of key arcs and hope that people liked that, and genuinely they probably would have, assuming they looked good. Because if these 22-minute reanimations weren't as stunning as 1000-Year Blood War, then they'd have another 1000-Year Blood War on their hands. But this one would be fought in the streets of Japan. I guess technically TYPW is kind of fought in the streets of Japan. You get it, but you can't just make a 22-minute reanimation a 45-minute reanimation. You've already storyboarded everything and made the cuts to key fights like Itachi versus Sasuke to make it 22 minutes. And therefore, to make it 45 minutes, you would have to scrap the entire project and start from the beginning. But I don't think it was ever reanimation. Because if it was, they would have just released them. And if they didn't look good, they'd be done by now. I genuinely think what they were going to release was 4 new non-canon episodes. And therefore, if Studio Period with 4 non-canon episodes in their back pocket saw that people wanted an hour-long episode, their 2 options would either be scrap the 4 episodes and make hour-long non-canon episodes, or create another entire mini-arc to either run after or concurrent with the one we've already created. Because let's say hypothetically the 4-episode mini-arc only focuses on Naruto. You could smash 2 22-minute episodes together and make an episode 45 minutes so it could run for an hour on TV. Now that would effectively only make the mini arc 2 episodes, but you could then make a 4-episode mini arc revolving around Sasuke that could either run concurrent to Naruto's or just be a separate time and place to run after Naruto's 2-episode conclusion, giving you 4 one-hour episodes. But neither of these are super great options. Either you scrap the thing you just spent months creating, or you say, okay, that thing we created isn't as pretty as we need it to be, let's make it prettier, but let's also make an entire new one that's also pretty so that we have 4 hours of content for the Naruto fan base. There's also the possibility that they had a 4-episode non-canon mini arc that they decided to scrap in its entirety because everybody was clamoring for how much they wanted a reanimation, and thus they were truly starting from zero, where they now had to switch gears entirely and reanimate key arcs from Naruto so that the masses would be happy. Regardless, the through line to all of this is starting at zero, and that's beginning to see infinitely more likely every single day. Because, once again, I'll reiterate, I know nothing about animation, but spending 4 months on 4 episodes to make them look better seems like way too long, especially when you consider the fact that Studio Period could have come out 2 months ago and been like, hey, we'll be done with the episodes in 4 months, but we haven't even gotten that yet. Now, one could obviously make the argument that Studio Period isn't going to come out with a release date until we're like 2 weeks from them being done, as going on an indefinite hiatus and then getting a release date of 4 months down the line is kind of a nothing burger. And actually, in this case, I believe that no news is good news, which sounds insane, but stick with me. See, because the length of these delays either show that they're taking these 4 episodes incredibly seriously, or that something bigger is afoot. Those are genuinely the only 2 possible answers. Either Studio Period decided that these 4 episodes weren't up to snuff and decided to scrap them entirely to give us something that we would truly want based off the public reception that they were seeing prior to the release of these 4 episodes, or they realized that the general outpouring of emotion regarding these 4 episodes was an indicator of the fact that the Naruto fandom is still very much alive and will buy anything they release. And both of those are good things for the Naruto community. Because here's the thing. Think about this logically. Let's say hypothetically the episodes come out tomorrow. If the quality of those 4 episodes is not stunning, why delay, right? Wouldn't it be better to release 4 episodes of subpar quality 4 months ago than release 4 episodes of average quality now? Especially when you consider the fact that the reason cited for delaying these 4 episodes is to improve their quality. Thus now, with the amount of time that has passed with them trying to improve the quality of these 4 episodes, if these episodes are anything less than movie quality, what was all that time spent on? And thus Studio Period, whether they know it or not, but I'd like to think that they know it, has kind of painted themselves into a corner, where now the expectation of the episodes that we're going to get is astronomically higher than it was 4 months ago, because Studio Period themselves acknowledged the fact that these episodes weren't good enough and that they had to get better. And therefore, if these 4 episodes don't end up being reanimations, an hour long, or both, then Studio Period might be as on fire as we believe it is, because these delays are more likely than not also causing delays for Boruto's anime returning, as Boruto's last episode came out 9 months ago, and Boruto's anime is now roughly 18 chapters behind the manga. And while that really only puts Boruto's anime roughly about 18 episodes behind Boruto's manga, that's still the biggest gap there's ever been between Boruto's anime and manga. But Boruto's also on hiatus for a similar reason that these 4 episodes are on hiatus. They didn't want to keep producing an insane amount of poorly animated filler. And while Boruto was still doing okay numbers in Japan, it wasn't doing Naruto numbers. And therefore Boruto's trying to make a big old padding between the manga and the anime, which are always going to be stuck in this somewhat perpetual cycle because the manga is monthly and the anime is weekly. At least It was. And thus, one of the biggest reasons these 4 episodes may not see the light of day for a while is because these 4 episodes were probably supposed to lead us back into Boruto coming back. Because it's fairly obvious that Studio Pierrot doesn't want these 4 episodes competing against the return of Boruto. And thus, the most logical choice from a business standpoint, at least in my mind, would be to drum up as much hype in the Naruto community as possible by releasing these 4 episodes and then bringing the Boruto anime back, starting with chapter 294. Now, since these episodes have been delayed, so has the return of Boruto, as you really can't bring Boruto back until these 4 episodes are out, because Boruto and these 4 episodes both would play technically in the same time slot. And we know this because the 4 episodes that were supposed to come out got replaced by key episodes of Boruto. So if these episodes in Boruto can't run simultaneously, then Boruto can't happen until these episodes come out. And therefore, the real reason these episodes might have been postponed is so that Boruto can improve its quality, as these 4 episodes are kind of serving as a stopgap for the return of Boruto. This would also explain the length of this hiatus, as the task of improving the quality of Boruto as an anime is much more daunting than improving 4 non-canon episodes. But if all of this has nothing to do with Boruto, and they're just struggling to get 4 episodes out, then we may never see Boruto come back, period. Because if Studio Pierrot can't get 4 non-canon episodes out, then boy oh boy are they never going to improve on Boruto. So really, when it comes down to it, we are either going to get 4 episodes from Studio Pierrot that are TYBW level gorgeous, and then after the release of these 4 episodes, Boruto will resume, preferably in a seasonal role, or TYBW has consumed Studio Pierrot whole, and Boruto and these 4 episodes are suffering by extension of that. However, those aren't technically the only possibilities, because while it is likely that Studio Pierrot was going to release these 4 episodes, but then saw the backlash and therefore decided to either restart or massively improve the quality of these 4 episodes, there's also the possibility that Studio Pierrot saw just how much the Naruto fandom wanted Naruto to be reanimated, and upon realizing that the 4-episode mini arc wouldn't be enough to satiate the fan base, realized that truly the only real route they could go would be a complete and total reanimation. See, because here's the thing. Let's say hypothetically you are Studio Pierrot. You have a 4-episode non-canon arc planned, but everybody online is clamoring for a reanimation. So now, not only does nobody want what you have, but also they have expressed interest in something that would be massively more profitable for you as a company, and that is a reanimation. But here's the thing. If you're only going to reanimate 4 key arcs and cut them down into an hour, wouldn't that technically deter you from doing something like One Piece is doing? A complete and total animation and pacing overhaul. And while obviously you can make the argument that the release of these 4 episodes could be Studio Pierrot testing the waters to see if people are interested in Naruto being reanimated, I would argue the 9-minute video they released over a year ago was that already. And therefore, there's a solid possibility that the real reason this hiatus has been so long is because Studio Pierrot realized that nobody wanted what they had, but wanted something much bigger that they could create. And thus, instead of shifting their goals from a 4-episode mini arc or even 4-hour-long reanimations, they decided to scrap that project entirely and undertake a much larger one. See, because here's the thing. Well, obviously, the One Piece Wit Netflix collaboration was just announced in Jump Festa. It's probably been in the works for a couple of months now, and therefore there's a possibility that when Studio Pierrot, Naruto, and Shueisha were thinking about trying to roll out new Naruto IP, they heard about what One Piece was doing, and thus, instead of shooting themselves in the foot with a project that the Naruto fandom didn't want, or releasing a small sampling of what they would be able to achieve, which would effectively take all of the intrigue out of Naruto being reanimated because we already got Naruto's best moments reanimated, they decided to scrap the project as a whole, which would explain why we haven't heard anything about it for 4 months. But who knows? We could get news about it tomorrow. But anyway, you shake it, 4 months is an insanely long amount of time to improve the quality of 4 episodes of anime. So what do you think is happening over at Studio Pierrot? Tell me in the comments below, and while you guys are down there, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. Also, here's a question for the crowd. How do you improve the animation of an already animated project? Do you add more frames? Do you add more colors? Do you smooth edges out? I have no idea.